Hello, good afternoon to everyone. Great to see so many people to talk about eSIM. My name is Sylvain Givord. I've been working with the eSIM technology for the past 7 years. And today I am a product manager for eSIM solutions in IDEMIA.
And my name is Ken Cavanaugh. I'm based out of Austin, Texas, and I work as a principal product manager within the Azure for Operators group. So it's great to meet everybody.
So in this presentation, we're going to focus on the eSIM on the consumer ecosystem. And what we want to do is really take it from the point of view of the mobile operators. And we're going to highlight the amazing potential that the eSIM has to change the way we connect and to change the way we deliver connectivity. And we're going to see concretely how mobile operators can get the most of that potential. So first of all, a word about eSIM in the US, and actually a very simple statement. The United States is the country of eSIM. If we look at the past 18 months, 60% of all eSIM downloads have happened in the US, 60%. And on top of that, well, Carlos has talked about it, there is the iPhone 14 release, right? And the iPhone 14 in the US, and in the US only, for a start, will be eSIM only. So no more physical SIM cards, and for the very first time, such a flagship device relying only on eSIM technology, which gives two very clear messages to the market, right? The first message is there is no way back. With such devices on eSIM, the techno is here to stay. And then the second message is yet again, a great boost on the eSIM momentum, first in the US and then in the whole world, which is a great news. It's a great news for us that have been working on that technologies and shaping this idea for all those past years. But more significantly, it's a great news for the ecosystem because the eSIM brings a great potential to the ecosystem and to all the stakeholders. And I'd like to start from that, and I'd like to look a bit more specifically on that potential. The fact of digitizing the physical SIM card will allow for new use cases, is already allowing for new use cases. Here, one example among many is the roaming use case and how easier it is for a traveler arriving in a foreign country to get connectivity with eSIM. It's bringing a potential for new connected devices. Let's just have a look at how many eSIM connected smartwatches in the past years. A potential for new sales channels and going more and more towards full digital onboarding of the subscribers. And altogether, for the end user, it's a potential for a renewed and improved user experience. And then for the carriers, the eSIM is also a great opportunity for cost savings as it will help simplify very significantly the supply chain. So possibilities for all the players of that industry. But how eSIM is being used today? And well, Carlos gave some great insights on the market, and I'd like to give a few more numbers. And those numbers, they are from last year and H1 this year. And all the numbers I'm going to show, they come from ABI Research or from Trusted Connectivity Alliance, which is also known as TCA. And so the numbers, they show that eSIM is still a very small fraction of the consumer connectivity business, right? 1.4% of all the connectivity done through eSIM in H1 this year. But it's growing very much, plus 71% in H1 this year compared to the same period last year. And so the mobile operators are equipped, or the biggest ones are equipped with more than 500 eSIM consumer solutions on the field. But they are very much aware, and they tell us that the eSIM solutions that they have not yet been pushed to the maximum of their capacities in terms of transactions, in terms of resilience, in terms of endurance, that the use cases are still somehow evolving and that there is still some space for improvements and from optimizations. And altogether, that they are still not using the eSIM at its full potential. And those carriers that are willing to grasp more from the eSIM technology, they are focusing today on 3 aspects. The first one is operational excellence with a very simple objective. Today, when a subscriber takes a physical SIM card, puts it on the device and switches it on, it works. It always works. Well, it must be the same with eSIM. The eSIM experience must always work, whatever the conditions, whatever the load, whatever, etc. So a very strong focus put on operational excellence. The second key point is at keeping things simple. And here I like this quote from Steve Jobs that says, design is not just what it looks like or what it feels like, design is how it works. And I think we all want the eSIM user experience to be as simple as possible, as smooth as possible, and as reliable as possible, which is valid both for the end user experience. And here on that front, if we look at Apple iPhone 14 and the decision from Apple to have a provisioning profile in the iPhone, a bootstrap that can be used if the Wi-Fi is not available, is an illustration of the importance of keeping things as simple as possible for the end user. But this is also valid for how eSIM systems are integrated with existing backend and existing processes. Simplicity brings reliability, it brings efficiency, and at the end of the day, it brings cost savings. And finally, while the eSIM is indeed a disruptive technology, and it allows for a lot of innovation, and our carriers want more and more to use that possibility to propose new use cases, to have new revenue streams, and to have more cost savings. On that one, we have a very interesting example coming from a study that IDEMIA made on the total cost of ownership of a physical SIM card compared to the cost of ownership of an eSIM. And what we did is that we listed each and every of the elements that add up to the cost of a physical SIM card. And, well, you have the cost of the card itself, of course, but then there is the cost of the packaging on top of it. There is the cost of the stocking, distributing the card. You may have some losses and some damages. Also, some of the cards get outdated, and you have the cost of obsolescence. And there's the cost of the inventory management, which relates to the fact that the carriers have to build a number of SIM card profiles, different SIM card profiles, to tackle different situations on the field. Cards for 4G, for 5G, for prepaid users, for postpaid users, for different form factors, etc., etc. Those are called the SKUs, right? The card SKUs for stock keeping units. And the more SKUs you have, the more complex the inventory and the more costly to manage. Okay, so in the world of eSIM, the physical SIM card is replaced by an eSIM profile, which you could see as a virtual SIM. And of course, this virtual SIM has to be generated, and it has to be downloaded, and this has a cost. But then a number of the other cost elements disappear because you don't need packaging on top of a virtual SIM card, because you don't need to distribute it or store it, and you don't have more losses anymore. Then some of the challenges do remain. Obsolescence, inventory management are the same challenges in the world of eSIM as in the world of SIM. And if the carriers treat them the same way in both worlds, well, the costs related to those challenges will remain. But the eSIM allows to tackle those points differently. And so with a truly innovative solution, it's actually possible to completely get rid of the obsolescence cost and to significantly reduce the cost of managing the inventory. And altogether, our study shows that carriers can get up to 78% cost reduction on the TCO. So now let's have a look at how it's done. What features from an eSIM subscription management solution allow carriers to deliver operational excellence, to keep things as simple as possible, and to innovate and use the full potential of eSIM? Well, the first purpose and the main purpose of an eSIM solution is to deliver virtual SIMs. And the main request here from the telco is please make sure you support all the devices, all the eSIM devices on the market. So to do that, you have to implement a number of features required by the market, required by specifications, and we at IDEMIA, of course, implement all those features, we fully test them, and we make sure our solution works perfectly with all the eSIM devices on the market. But then we go beyond that approach, and I would like to present today two unique aspects of our solution, which are called just-in-time eSIM profile generation and Microsoft Azure Public Cloud hosting. The first one is actually very simple. The principle of just-in-time eSIM profile generation is that a carrier can change any element of an eSIM profile at any time before or during the eSIM download. So, very simple concept, but it's a complete paradigm change compared to the physical SIM card, where the card is personalized weeks or months before it's on the field. And this allows for great added value in a different number of cases, and I'd like to see 3 of them today. The first example relates to the necessity for operators to systematically and consistently deliver the best experience to their end users. And to do that, they have to make sure that the eSIM profile that they build perfectly matches the eSIM device, because not all eSIM profiles work with all eSIM devices. If you take the example of the Google Pixel 3, well, a 5G eSIM profile does not work with Google Pixel 3. So there's a work to be done here, and the typical way to tackle this is to say, okay, I'm going to build a different type of eSIM profile for each and every different type of eSIM devices that I have on the field. The famous SKUs that we saw before. But the risk there is more and more devices on the field, more and more use cases, more and more profiles, complex mapping rules, and it very quickly becomes a nightmare to manage. So our proposal with the eSIM profile dynamic adaptation feature is to say, let's have only one SKU, one eSIM profile, and let's adapt it. Let's change parts of the profile to make sure it matches the eSIM device. And because we receive the information on the device model and on the device capabilities during the download, and because we can change any part of a eSIM profile at any time, even during the download, we can do that adaptation and make sure that with only one SKU, we will always deliver the perfect match for the eSIM device. Then a very similar challenge is that the profile sometimes has to be updated not only for the device, but also for other elements, other circumstances. The sales channels that was used to sell the connectivity, the geolocalization of the end user, etc. So we have also, and we give the possibility for the mobile operator, for the carrier, via a very simple API call to change any element of the eSIM profile, and again, make sure that the profile will be adapted to each and every of the situations. And finally, the last case where the just-in-time profile generation feature allows for great added value is the case of the obsolescence, is to tackle obsolescence. I said it before, eSIM profiles do get outdated, and usually the approach from the carriers is to trash those profiles after a while, which is a cost for them. So what we say with that feature is don't trash, recycle. Because you can, again, change your profile in our solution at any time, it's possible to update it, make sure your inventory is always up to date, and completely remove obsolescence. So one last word on those features that I've just presented and that help carriers simplify their profile inventory, that help them improve the end user experience and remove obsolescence. All those features are already in production in our customers here and now, and the use cases and the feedbacks I'm sharing come directly from our customers. Okay, a message we consistently get from all mobile operators in the market is their concern about the coming explosion of eSIM transactions and how their eSIM solution will cope with it. They want a solution that scales and that helps them scale. They want a solution that will be able to cope with the huge increase of eSIM transactions, that will be able to deliver and to be up and running 99.999% of the time, so to deliver the famous 5 nines. They want a solution that will be resilient to major geographical or IT disasters. They want, of course, state-of-the-art security. And more, the ask from the operators is to have the eSIM solution in their own country or in their own continent. So to answer to those needs, Microsoft and IDEMIA have decided to partner and to work together on the deployment of eSIM solutions into the Microsoft Azure cloud.
Thanks, Sylvain. Yeah, so IDEMIA and Microsoft, we've been partners for well over 10 years. And about 2 years ago, we kicked off an engagement to basically develop a global eSIM offering with IDEMIA that's available and runs on Azure cloud. And in doing this, there's really 2 different work streams we're looking at. One is on the commercial side. IDEMIA is a IP co-sell partner in Microsoft today. So they're leveraging Microsoft's global network of resellers to basically offer their service globally. On the technical front, the thought was to look at how do I get this carrier-grade service. And in doing that, we basically brought together obviously product experts from IDEMIA, but also cloud architects from Azure, basically to kick off this program to create this global eSIM service. That really addresses the requirements that Sylvain just put up here in terms of things like the availability, capacity, resiliency, and then obviously security. In addition to that, we're also, let me talk some of the things we're doing just so you're aware. Examples of that, we do, for like availability, we've got availability zones that we use within the different regions. On the resiliency side, you might not be aware, Microsoft, I think the last number they spent about $1 billion a year on just security enhancements for the Azure public cloud. So this addresses a lot of the resiliency. One of the things is distributed denial of service attacks. So these are things that we're handling here regularly within Azure cloud. So a lot of work basically in this design, basically kind of deliver this whole carrier-grade experience. And then finally, obviously, with the roadmaps evolving, we're continuing to do the technical collaboration here. IDEMIA is a private preview partner for us. That means that they are getting early access to new features and stuff that come in the cloud. So we're evolving it, testing it before it actually becomes generally available. So, and to talk about the service itself, it's in production globally today. So, and this is on Azure globally. If you look at the Azure's regions right now, we've got 10 of them that are already SAS SM certified by GSMA, and 4 of them here are actually in the US. So what that means is a US customer here can basically they have a multi-region IDEMIA eSIM service that's exclusively here in the US for that service. And given the footprint of what we're doing, you can see the reach of what we're looking to achieve here with the service here. So currently, we've already got, IDEMIA has 50 mobile operators using the service today.
Thank you, Ken. Okay, so IDEMIA is the world leader in managing identity under all its forms. And as such, we are at the heart of a number of digital revolutions and digital transformations. In the banking industry, solutions such as Apple Pay, Google Pay, Samsung Pay are completely changing the way we pay. The eSIM is changing the way we connect. And in the identity ecosystem, remote ID proofing solutions, for example, are changing the way we identify ourselves. So in all of those three examples, IDEMIA is present with a very strong expertise and experience. And in all of those three, we have solutions. We are delivering solutions and services with great security, unmatched operational excellence, and innovation. And that allows our customers to take the most of that technology. We are a global company, present worldwide. I'm coming from France, you may have noticed. But we have a great team here in the US, and they are present today, or some of them are present today in Mobile World Congress. So please contact them, contact Ray, and let's exchange on how our solutions can change the way you manage eSIM. Thank you.